Hey, storytelling. Ron here. I want to talk about the Predator, the new Predator Badlands movie, and I just watched it last night. Going off here, I just woke up so stiff and bloated, and I haven't woken up like that in a long time because of the seed oil popcorn. Man, the pop, I'd got to do the movie butter popcorn. But I felt that seed oil thing going on there, and because I'm dirty carnivore, so I eat a lot of just like lard and beef tallow. I deep fry my fried chicken that way now. It's delicious. Make potato chips with beef lard with tallow, and but that popcorn, man, I woke up this morning just stiff like the old days, like all stiff, man. And the bloat. So that's like, to me, looking at Americans when we're all kind of stiff and bloated, I feel like that's the seed oils, because I'm Maha, man, make America healthy again, because I've been avoiding it for quite a while now on a dirty carnivore diet. And dirty carnivores, I mostly eat meats, fats, honey. I eat honey now with my margaritas now are honey, lime juice, tequila, and a bit of soda water, or soda, 2 parts honey, or no, 2 parts lime juice, 2 parts tequila, 2 parts soda water, and a drizzle of honey. Feel great, feel fine. Anyway, yeah, that popcorn, man. So let's get to the movie. I enjoyed it. I'm my standard is going down really low. There's no gay characters. There's no the woke. There was nothing there that annoyed me. I thought it was done really well. I get the Predator. When you do a story, there's always a desire to have a trope or a theme, but then you have a twist to that in the character. The character has a character arc, and this had a character arc. This character, he had a conflict with the Predator. The Predators are the bad guys. This story is about a predator who becomes good. So that's okay. I think that's an acceptable story. Everyone wants the predator to be the bad guy. There were bad predators. There were bad guy predators in this movie. But when we have a hero's journey, we want to see a character arc, and that's what happened. And so I think this film was very enjoyable, very entertaining, very fulfilling in that sense. The character kind of has the King Kong versus Godzilla character arc. I felt, because spoilers here, or I'm going to try to be mild spoilers, but his character arc, and he befriends oddball characters at the end, which is predators obviously don't do. They're hunters. They're vicious killing machines. But the thing is, I'm watching some of the other the YouTubers who I think are being contrarian for contrarian's sake, and I think they need to be a little more nuanced in their in their fighting dribble against the Hollywood machine, because this film, I think, really tried to make it entertaining, give a character arc, and show a good happy ending, but still have that fun, hard viciousness of predator culture. And predators in a couple of the older movies, I remember in 2 of them, in the Predator versus Alien one, and then the second one of those, and then in the one where the guy, they go to the planet, there were predators that were kind of good guys, not good, but they were there was a sort of the enemy of my enemy is my ally, my friend, to work with. So there was a little bit of that going on there already. So we have that. And the predator civilization, it has to be a civilization of some kind because of their technology and their spaceships, and they have lots of medical devices. Medical devices shows that there is a compassion in there in some form. Think of predators as Vikings. Vikings were vicious killers, killing, and even Muslims kill for their religion, die in battle. That's what predators are. But they had a care for their family members, not for others. They enslaved others and brutalized and tortured others, but they certainly had an emotional bondage with their family, with their children, or with their whatever. So even though they treat their women like chattel. So in this story, everyone's complaining that the predator shows emotion, but that's Vikings do have emotions, even in their brutality. they have emotions with through their family, and that's what the story was revealing. And he never talked about his feelings. They said that a lot of the critics were saying he talked about feelings. He did not talk about feelings. He tried to avoid it, while she, having the AI interrogation mode, got it out of him. But he never actually gave it up willingly himself. He was always repressed in what he was saying. So I felt that was well written. And, as a writer, I felt that was very well written. The dialogue I thought was very well written. And that he talked a lot. He talked enough just to say what he had to say. He didn't like go on and on and on. So I felt like he was written well. And I just recently listened to an audio about a podcast about Indians. They were brutal. They were brutal torturers. They would, if they captured the warriors of other tribes, they would bring them to the public to see how long they would last being tortured. And the honor of that warrior being tortured was to see how long he lasts without crying. And then they killed him. And that was normal. That was entertainment for pagan. And that's typical. It's entertainment for any pagan, even today. So if you want paganism, if you want Islamo-Marxism back in the world, there's your form of entertainment. But they do that now in the Islamic states. They do public executions that are brutal and horrible. Beheadings and stuff like that. And stonings. So this character then is all that. So he's still bad. But he's starting to get there was she brought up the AI woman brought up sort of the wolf, how the toughest wolf, the alpha wolf, protects its clan, not kills, has the most kills. And that was kind of a neat theme where he kind of learned that he wanted to be super tough by protecting his little new clan of buddies or whatever. So I felt that was a pretty cool character arc in this film. And I'm gonna go over some of the details real quick just for the fun of it. Just a little enjoyable little thing. So I'm, looking on YouTube and there's all these reviews and trailers and stuff already, tons of views and all that. And I don't, and obviously some of the ones that I like to follow, I listen to Despero, who's amusing. And then, although he kind of drones on and on, but so do I. But anyway, and this is the guy, and there's the two that are in. Now, they say that she was so annoying in the film, her character, like a lot of the critical drinker, neurotic, film threat. I like those guys a lot. Those, but they're also against the film, and I'm like, it's not that. It's what's his name? The Mormon really likes the film, and I really enjoyed it. She was not that annoying. She wasn't. Her character was kind of meant to be annoying for a while, but it thankfully, like any film, good film, it gets less as the thing goes along. So it wasn't that bad. It was. She became, a little more better as the film went along, kind of thing. And she was trying to warn him, and she got a little more serious towards the end, which was good. Not as. So I really enjoyed the film. I really enjoyed the whaling. That instead of killing humans, we're just killing synthetics. That was nice. I didn't want to see a bunch of humans getting killed all the time, so it was not as bloodthirsty of a film. The planet was awesome. I think I saw it in the trailer here. Somewhere the planet was really, really cool, like all the creatures and stuff that were in it. Where's there one shot of a creature beast here? I think it was right somewhere. I really would, there's these cool plants and all the different kinds of creatures. So the ecology of the thing was really neat. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really enjoyable to watch. Something exotic and different. And there's the plants, and there's some cool creatures, and a bunch of different creatures too. And that he's a runt, so he's a runt in the story. So he's supposed to be kind of killed off by his family, or his father wants him dead because he's just a runt, and then he has to prove himself, and he wants to go prove himself and become a hunter and killer, and all that. And then he kind of has a character arc, and I think there's a good story. It's not Predator. The Predator, if you want to keep to what a predator is, then the story is not about the predator. The predator is the scary monster killer theme, but there's a character within it that has to learn and go through something, and this is that character. So this runt who's being expelled from the predator culture and clan has to then become his own whatever. He wants to obviously get back into it, but he becomes his own new character arc. And again, a couple of the older movies have already touched on this, that the predators can have more than just one way, and that makes sense. And I like that. I like that possibility, so that, whether they continue on with this character or something, else is fine. But I think it's good that you can have different storylines and different types of predators, and you can still have the villainous predators. There's still the brutal hunter killer predators, but then you can have like these other clans who want to be good, who want to do something different. And I think that is a fascinating way of doing it too, because you can't just if you just have the same predator all the time, that's just going to get boring, And you need to delve into the story and culture of them. I'm going to end this with this. Christians, we can take this idea or whatever, but the Alien Predator franchise has Christianity in it. You can have Christians in this film. Imagine a Christian learning their language, the Yatua, whatever their race is, and going there and converting them. Oh, imagine this is a Viking story. The Vikings were defeated by Christian missionaries. Rome was defeated by Christianity. The biggest, most horrifying empires were defeated by Christian missionaries, and we seem to gloss over that. We Christians came into and we colonized. That's why they hate that word. That's why they attack us as colonizers and white supremacists, is because it's all about Jesus Christ and Christianity. But imagine these converting to Christianity. I mean, it's kind of hard in the sense of, like, I don't believe in aliens because God created life on Earth for us, and for, that's it. And whereas the rest of the universe is created for His glory. So that part I have a hard time tackling, but whatever. But you can have Christians in this and going around as missionaries, and that would be a horrifying, tough story, but that would be awesome story to do. So and the whole Viking story of being converted, and there was plenty of wars too. There was a Christian Viking king who had to go to war with a lot of other Vikings to stop them from being brutal killers. He converted many willingly, but there were many holdouts who would not convert, and he went brutal on them. And that is not the way of Christianity, but just like in any kind of, just like mankind, there's a point where things you can't do anything else. You have to stop them from doing what they're doing, murdering children, going out and, the Viking culture is to go out and kill. So we Christians are like, we're gonna have to, get you to stop doing that. Now and today, the Islamo-Marxism is what we're confronting, and that's been brewing for obviously forever. It's, Islam-Marxism is just paganism in a new form. It's in a new, stronger, more radical form to counter Christianity, because Islamo-Marxism is in my view, the satanic reaction to Christianity. It's him trying to create another way of defeating Christ, and we just have to wake up and get back to church and do our thing. And so I think this movie was enjoyable. I think that you should go see it in the big theater. It was a lot of fun. Boy, that popcorn, man, be careful there. And support films that, don't push gay. This had a good character arc, but also talk about it in the way of missionary work. Like, wow, what kind of missionary could go in this world? And, just bring up that psyche of missionary work in everything that you think of and do and see, so that because we just need to bring that back to the culture. Missionary work. We need to bring that back. Going to church, thinking of missionary work, thinking of evangelism, thinking of ways in your stories and your creativity to be evangelists. Start imagining that storyline. And hopefully there will be enough of you authors and filmmakers that start creating them, because the entire West that survived the Islamo dictatorship tyranny that wiped out our churches in Africa and in the Middle East, the church history of the West is what has given us great stories, fun stories, sci-fi, fantasy that we enjoy today. And we enjoy it because of the churches and the missionaries that spread throughout the land and created a civilization, colonized and created a civilized world that we can have fun stories. Without that, every story that you do is all about tyranny and paganism and control. In Christianity, we do stories for fun, for enjoyment, for rest, and because we have a freedom in us in Christ. We don't have a freedom. We don't have a slavery to force people to convert, to kill people to convert. Our freedom is that we are free from our own sins and our own delusions and of grandeur, and we then in that freedom, well, we want to do things that are enjoyable and family friendly and not horrible and addictive and destructive and lustful and manipulative and exploitive. We want to do fun things that are just enjoyable for everyone, family friendly. That's the freedom of Christianity. So I enjoyed the film. I thought it, even for kids can come and watch it. Actually, it was really neat to go to IMAX in Hollywood and see a mom. There was like a mom or older woman, this is the way I looked at it anyway, and she had like 6 or 7 young boys or guys there. Not young, but like teenager kind of, kids, and I don't know how many. There was a few of them there though with her, like a kind of large group. They were kind of all mixed in there. But I really liked that was there. Like they were coming to see a movie. They weren't on TikTok or whatever playing a computer game. They were all talking, and even after the movie, they were talking. That was kind of neat, like seeing them in the crowd and as we were get in the popcorn line and then coming out afterwards. That and that was nostalgia to me, because that's the way we used to be. We used to come out, go to the movies, talk, blah blah blah, get our popcorn, go watch the movie, come out, and blah, oh, you remember this scene, remember that, remember this. So that was kind of neat to see that. I haven't seen that in a long time. So I think this movie was good. I think you guys should go see it, even as Christians, and think about that. Man, what if this was a missionary thing? Because we could do this. Check out my For the Lord RPG role playing games up here. You got to be really into role playing games to get in. But I have some books on Amazon. I'll look up. I should probably show you a link. Look up here. Let me just show you real quick at the end here. I should have done this at the beginning. I'm not very good at this. Let me grab this real quick. Here's my books on Amazon. Alfred. I finished Alfred 6. That's actually the first time I'm saying it on social media. I'm just going through it a little bit, and then I'll start some editing, but it should be done pretty quickly, I think. And this is my fantasy, sort of kid, but adult fantasy, but kid. It's a kid fantasy, but adults, I encourage adults to read it because I feel like it's like a Lord of the Rings type of thing. Very epic. There's adult romance in it, but family friendly. Lots of crunchy, wars and battles and skirmishes and things. The Conquest of the Evermire is very D&D-ish, very kind of fun and silly and lighter, but still kind of fun, little micro adventure, like adventuring. Night of the Dead is my adult dad zombie apocalyptic thing. Very realistic, whatever, but very hardcore, but not sexually, but zombie violence and frightening, and I think a 13-year-old and up could read it, because I don't do porn or anything, but it's all brutal zombie fighting violence, and modern day dude in a Hollywood zombie apocalypse. And then my Christians, or my role-playing game, and the goal of the role-playing game is to teach, really the goal, it's a D&D, so kind of like a lot of rules, but not, I feel like it's an easy game to play, but it's OSR style, but you really need to be into RPGs to really get into it. And I think the tough part is the conversion and all that, and trying to get that mindset of evangelism, conversion, planning churches, and that kind of adventure. But it's full on adventure in the same way as any other role-playing game. There's crypts and tombs and dungeons and monsters you can have in it and stuff like that. But earth based. So I use earth based, so it's kind of like Hellboy, Cthulhu, kind of in the sense of like earth, Bible, biblical, but then pushing out the myth and lore a little bit just to have fun with that. And demons, very demonic, very witches and sorceries as far as the Dark Ages. In the Apostles of the Epoch and Christian Space, you can have all kinds of creatures because it's mutant, radiation mutant type of thing, post-apocalyptic. And in space, you can have genetically modified anything, any genre, including Predator and aliens and xenomorphs and all that. So those are my Creatures in Space. I finished Alfred 6. I'm working on some stuff. But, So that's my Predator Badlands review. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the visuals of it. I enjoyed the story, the character arc. Yes, it takes the twists and turns on the Predator theme, but that's kind of what you're supposed to do with each one. You're supposed to add a twist to each to the Predator with each film, and I thought this still had the evil Predators doing their Predator thing, or wanting, being that harsh, brutal hunter culture, but then having the runt have to find his own way, and I thought that was a good story, so I enjoyed it. All right, I gave my life favorite, and the woman was fine. The android woman, didn't annoy me. She was annoying at the beginning, but that was it. Then she grew up, which is what you do while they all grow up. All right, and I gave my life, everybody. You got to get on it. Get back to church. We got to fight the Islamo-Marxism that's spreading across the world. It's almost taken Europe, so hopefully there's a revival at the church. You got to do your ministry, your whatever it is you're doing through the church, and I'm doing my YouTube thing, but I'm going to church and figuring out how to work more through the church and doing things through the church. All right, game of life. Roll holy dice.